Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day, happy Saturday, wonderful weekend to you. We're looking at BNB here once more, helping you understand hopefully the big picture and best practice, but you got to recognize tremendous amount of fundamental fear, uncertainty, and doubt. A lot of FUD pushing the price action down much further than it needs to based on just pure speculation. So try not to trust everything you hear, but on the same accord, that is factoring in here because unfortunately cryptocurrency has a lot. This is knee-jerk reactions that occur. One person says this and then just kind of turns into just a bunch of nonsense. So just bear that in mind. BNB is still a strong coin. I do feel like they're going to persevere through this, but again, that's just my personal opinion. I could be way off base. When it comes to fundamentals, that's just something you never truly know. Right? So we're going to try to control what we can by understanding the technicals and then going from there, right? So if you are new to the channel, just know I've been trading for about 17, almost 18 years now. I've have a trading academy community and Signal group. We all learn and grow together. Phenomenal experience. Be sure to check that out. Highly recommend registering before you're in just because we are adjusting the prices next year. I also send out significant updates that are really important to understand on a regular basis, and we took a nice short 55% on, of course, a short position for Binance, Bitcoin rather. We're looking at Binance here. So again, just some really cool stuff to kind of just understand and consider. Really, really cool things there. We're all using Bitget, of course, because there's a $10,000 monthly prize pool. Make sure you use the link in the description below when you register, or message me your user ID and I can go ahead and get you included in that so you can qualify for that by default. Oh, last but not least, if you're in the States or wherever, you will need a VPN for Bitget and pretty much any other exchange that allows leverage. So you get 3 extra months off with a 12-month plan through my link. So make sure you use the link in the description below for ExpressVPN, best VPN in the country. Of course, actually in the world too, just I'm not a world traveler per se, minus I went to London here recently, which is really a beautiful place to go. All right, so anyways, regards to that, let's look at BNB and kind of see what's going on. So when you look at some overextension, right, we'll talk about that first. When it comes to overextension, it's one of those things where it has to happen, and oftentimes it does, and cryptocurrency even more so. What I mean by has to happen is like in order for a significant recovery to occur, you need to have a significant bottom or top. All right, so we take a look at these tops here. For example, when a price goes over 70 in the RSI, while it continued for a few extra days, it eventually came down very hard. Granted, this was FTX, week of FTX there, so obviously that's going to occur. But generally speaking, when things go parabolic in either direction, there's going to be some type of correction, okay? So in this case here, we are significantly down, if you will. We're below 30 on the RSI, and anytime you're looking at BNB in the past, when it's come down below 30 in the RSI, there's always some kind of recovery, okay? So just bear that in mind. Is there potential for the price to come back up from here? I think yes. In short, it absolutely is. Again, from a technical standpoint. Fundamentals, different story altogether, right? Because again, there wasn't all this crazy speculation stuff back here. There was crazy speculation right here, okay? So keep that in mind. This concurrent with the market doing terrible, I think that's a recipe for the price action recovering in time. That's just, again, my personal opinion. I don't think we're going to see tremendously lower price points for BNB unless some kind of concrete evidence comes out and the price shoots down, okay? So take a look at the price, by the way. I mean, we can see pretty obvious we got a significant divergence. That's, again, very overextended, likelihood of pullback. And when I say pullback, by the way, I'm not saying it's going to shoot to the moon, but it should definitely increase relatively soon. That being said, though, without the overextension outside of that, let's go ahead and take a look at the Fibonacci retracement levels. Look how perfectly this worked within the levels here. So the price action comes down, wicks all the way down to 1.414, the $220 range. Furthermore, we got a nice closure here yesterday and potentially today as well. At least looks a strong likelihood of a closure over 230. So that's reiterating the fact that this is a nice support level, and we again shouldn't see anything lower than that in the near future. Again, those bunny ears or whatever, quotations, however you look at it, that has to be said because the fact that we don't know what the fundamentals are going to provide for us, right? But from a technical standpoint, absolutely overextended, should pull back relatively soon. You do need to recognize though, we are technically only about 6 days into this continuation. So what that really implies is that we could very well see a few more days of sideways action before the next increase. I would not expect the price just to shoot up like it has done previously, because again, when there's the harder things fall, the harder it is for it to get back up again, right? And I use this analogy a lot. If you've heard some of my videos, been watching me for a while, you recognize this. Imagine falling down a flight of stairs. You're probably going to break some bones and likely be in a wheelchair cast, right? It's going to take a while to recover. or get attacked by dogs, for example, and you have to have multiple stitches and lacerations. It takes a while to recover, right? But if you just say you just get a scratch, or perhaps you trip and fall down a couple of stairs, it's going to hurt, yes, but the likelihood of breaking those bones and recovering in a short amount of time is higher, right? So you're going to recover quicker. So in this regard here, BNB has fallen down a flight of stairs, and it's literally going to take a little while to come back up again. So again, if it were to recover, we're going to see some sideways action and come back up. It could even come all the way as low as the 180, because once again, we've identified that 180 is a key level support based on previous lows. Okay, so the most recent low in June of this year, roughly 6 months ago, was roughly right there at about 180, 182. We could very well come back down to that level. Coincidentally, that is a Fibonacci retracement level. And of course, that would be a bouncing point, because it's rare for the price to go past that to essentially to the downside. Okay. So once more, I would say 180 is a worst case scenario for Binance or BNB here, but it does feel like 230, 220 is going to be the immediate bottom. Once again, pending the traditional markets and everything else doesn't just go for a nosedive on Monday. All right. And we don't truly know what's going to happen there yet. So again, at this point, that's essentially where we're at, right? So the daily is not looking terrible, but it's not looking great either, right? It's certainly at a point where it should turn around, but we shouldn't expect it to turn around right away. We can see a very similar activity here as well, where anytime BNB goes below 30 on the RSI on the 4 hour, it takes a little while to recover, but it will inevitably. So hypothetically, we see that here as well. We could very well see a very similar scenario where the price action comes back up. Once again, I don't expect it to rally. It will rally if there's really, really strong fundamental news, but if not, it's going to take a little while for it to just kind of naturally correct itself. Other than that, really, we got a MACD potential convergence here, and this is not strong by any stretch, but this does imply we could see somewhat of a continuation of the upside. Again, this is very short amount of information here. We've only got about 24 or more so like 12 to 16 hours of continuation of the upside, so it's still early. I would say don't count on much there. One thing I forgot to look at, by the way, is a simple moving averages too. Okay, that's right. Yeah, they're all well above the price action. So honestly, BNB not looking great in that sense on the daily. That just kind of reaffirms that. So big surprise, right? Underneath all moving averages, and the price just tanked. No surprise there. So let's take a look at the TD sequential, kind of see where we're at here. We did come up to a 9. We're seeing that slight pullback / continuation of the side, which is standard. So it's good news in that regard. We did also forget to look at this on the 4 hour. And once again, we had these massive overextensions to the downside, and it continues lower. So we almost had 3 9s in a row on the 4 hour time frame. That's uncommon. You really don't see that too often. So again, that's once again more fundamental based. Based on news is the reason why this got hit very hard. But you got to keep in mind, BNB has a tendency of recovering quite strong when it does. Okay, so it's usually peaks and valleys for the most part for this coin. And once again, that's usually based on different fundamental scenarios that are occurring. So back to the 1 hour, let's just go ahead and wrap this up. So TD sequential really just telling us we got a reset. We should expect consolidation or a pullback to somewhere in the range of 230. Okay, so hypothetically, you're going to take a long position. Anywhere between 230 and 235 would be a good entry. I'm not telling you to take a long, but I am saying if you were to, you would want to consider taking profits at levels below key level Fibonacci retracements. So in other words, 250 is probably the next key resistance. Therefore, you'd want to have profit target, maybe 240, 245, right? Somewhere in between here and there to ensure you remain profitable. Because again, I get a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a handful of community members that will ask me like, hey, I'm up on this trade, how much longer should I hold it? Well, it's overextended. You got to take your profits. I mean, there's no doubt that if you never take profits, you're never going to be profitable. I know it seems very redundant and stupid in that sense, but it's absolutely a relevant thing. So be sure you're not super greedy in this market. You cannot be greedy when the margin is so tight, okay? So do not let things ride unless, of course, obviously you're shorted from 18,400 on Bitcoin. Maybe you want to keep that open, regardless of that fact. Move your stop losses as you move past these specific targets to ensure if the price comes back around, you get filled, okay? And you get filled in a positive way. Other than that, let's take a quick look at the cloud and kind of see. This is giving us some positive here. You got to keep in mind the momentum to the downside is dissipating, which basically just implies here that the baseline below the conversion line is a positive thing. That's more of a bullish type of sentiment. And again, don't misinterpret the word bullish. Doesn't mean it's going to shoot higher. It just implies that we're no longer bearish in this short amount of time. Therefore, that we see the lagging span intersecting with the price action soon. We've got 2 out of 3 indications telling us that a short position is no longer viable for BNB. You're seeing this is a very similar scenario for a lot of coins right now too. So alts will potentially come back and recover, and because we can see that Bitcoin dominance is pretty much drawing dead. Okay, so if Bitcoin dominance can kind of go sideways for some time, we'd be okay to be able to have that happen. Once again, though, when it comes to BNB here, the thing you want to understand is that we're not above the cloud yet. So we got at least 12 to 24 hours before the price naturally comes above the cloud here. So unless we get like a closure above 250 today, there's really no reason to take a long position. You want to wait for confirmation. And to me, confirmation is ensuring that all 3 things are present. We want a conversion line above the baseline, check, we got that. We want the lagging span free and clear price action. So hypothetically, the price action goes sideways from here. Then at this point is when we can take entry. Okay, again, confirmation above the cloud is the key. So to me, these other 2 things are consolations, whereas we need to have that confirmation above the cloud along with those other 2 factors. So really a little too premature to take entry, but once again, depending on your trading style, if you're a day trader, you probably have some decent luck moving your way up to 240, 245. But if you are swing trading, you might want to wait for confirmation above this level here, this 240 range, and ensure that the price is there for a while, at least a couple of hours, in order to give you confirmation that we're on the right side of the tracks. Okay, that concurrent with Bitcoin doing decently well, at the very least going sideways, we should be able to see BNB recover. Again, when I say recover, it's going to be a slow recovery, but we will start working our way up these Fibonacci retracement levels soon enough if we can just get some decency in the market, and of course, less speculation on negativity for Binance. All right. Again, all things we cannot control. So what you can control is your emotions and how you react and how you respond, and those are all things I like to teach. So if you want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is the site. Make sure you lock in your rate before the year is over to ensure that you can still maintain the same price point. And again, current community members, your grandfathered in, of course. Thank you again so much for all of your support. So I look forward to working with you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.